On the 12 days of nibmas that Doodlebud gave to me, a chance to win some custom ground nibs. Doodlebud here, and to reward you for the worst 10 seconds of singing you've ever heard, I'm going to be doing what I call the 12 days of nibmas. That's right, I'm going to be doing a nib giveaway, 12 in all, a nib a day. Stay tuned, let's tell you how you're going to win one. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and I thought, why not give away some nibs? So these are standard Jinhao nibs here. If we can zoom in and focus, the tipping material is the standard dealie. Haven't ground these yet. I'll do a quick little video montage of me doing it, but I have several videos of me grinding nibs. And yeah, so 12 in all. I'm going to do what I call my crowd pleaser grind, which is sort of like a cursive italic stub, sort of right in between, and going to give these all away to viewers. So I'm going to run you through essentially what I do to check the nibs. I got to check each one individually for the gap, alignment, and then get my grind on. So of course, being an exceptionally low budget channel, had to go cheap on you. I apologize, but these are okay. The Jinhao, their version of a number 6 nib is pretty darn good. This is my favorite Jinhao nib. Writes pretty well. Generally, they're not too bad, even fresh out of the box. And most people have some type of Jinhao pen that will take a number 6, most commonly, like say a X450 or X750. They do also sort of fit into some other number 6 housings, just, you know, not quite as good, a little bit looser, a little bit wiggly, but you could probably even give it a little bendy and have it fit a little bit. The first tool I'm using is this little El Cheapo set of feeler gauges. And as you can see, the one I use the most, that's the 1.5, so 0.0015 inches, so 1.5 thousandths of an inch. This is pretty much the gap, at least for me, that I feel nibs should be at. This is also, they have a metric version as well. I think it's 0.04 millimeters. That's what Pelican uses as their standard testing on their nib gap. That's something I learned watching the Apple Boom when you did the Pelican factory tour. I was a big fan of that one. So essentially, let's get you zoomed in. So I'm just going to take the feeler gauge, start at the breather hole, slide it in there, and it should go through fairly easy. Now this one's a little tight. You can maybe even hear a little click out. So not terrible, but that could be opened up a little bit, especially for this type of grind. I'm going to want a little more ink. That one, yeah, a little bit. See if I try to slide up and down, it's kind of tight. That one's got to get adjusted. It's probably going to be most of these. I would suspect there will maybe be a handful that are, aha, that's perfect. So nice and smooth. So you can hear here, slides up and down nice and freely. There we go. So that's a good one. Put that up there and just compare that with this one here that's too tight. Put that in and you can see it goes nice and smooth. And then here, considerable resistance, and I can't, you know, again, I can feel this. That's why they call it feeler gauges. Hopefully you can see that. It doesn't slide up and down nice and easy. So that's telling me that's more narrow than 1.5. Maybe it's 1,000ths or under. So I'm going to go through all these nibs, check them, sort them, and then I'll show you how I tweak them. You can see on the camera here that slit really narrows down there, but especially when you put the feeler gauge on it, put it in, and it's just, it's so tough to slide it through. It's really super tight. It's even binding up the gauge. So that's an example of too tight. All right, going to try to show you how I do this. So this is one of those nibs that was too tight. So I'm just going to grab it because these aren't in housings. It's super easy. I'm in pro mode for the camera. Let's see if this is any better for focus. I'm going to grab it, fingers and thumbs here, and just try to open up the tines there to spread them apart a little bit. You can see you get a little bit of a gap. Just going to do that a few times, hold and open them up, and you should, like when you wiggle the tines like that, they shouldn't stick to each other. Sometimes you get tines so bad, you do that and they're pressing so hard together. As soon as you take them apart from each other, do this, they cross over because they're so tight. So just going to do that a few times and see if I can get a little bit of progress on there. And if not, you might not have the hand strength to do it. I'll show you another way. So just checking the nib now, and it feels like it's, yeah, that's a lot better. It's still not the gap I require. I need a little bit more. So that's one way to do it. If you need a little bit more, maybe your hand strength isn't there, I could do this with my fingers and thumbs again, is go on a fairly hard surface. You don't want to have something you're going to dent, and you don't want something like, I don't know, concrete or asphalt that you're dealing with. And you'll just sort of hold the nib like this, give a little pinch, and gently press on it, hold it down. Maybe you lift it up a little bit, a few counts. Do that a few times. Give it an eyeball to where it's going to spring back. Again, maybe it looks like I'm pressing hard. I'm not. I mean, fairly gentle. And then you'll just go back, check on the feeler gauge, and look at that. We're pretty much on the money. And of course, if you open it a bit too far, you're just going, and then you go, oh, that's a little bit too wide. You put the feeler gauge in and you think, oh, you know what, that's a little too sloppy. It's usually just a little squeeze here. Oh, the focus there, a little squeeze on the shoulder. Again, this is all little small movements and a hold, squeeze and a hold that will probably get you right back to where you want to get that right gap going. So doesn't take too much. It's just little fine adjustments, fine tunes. And now after we did that, the tines can be out of alignment. So we're going to check those next. So I think I found a nib here where it's out of alignment enough that you can see it without me getting a loop. So you can see this tine is a little too down. So again, this doesn't take much. I'll see if I can adjust this through the camera. I'm watching it through the lens here too. So it's just going to be a little bit, hold it, bring it back. We're close. Just another little quick hold. Just gentle pressure. And I think that's going to do it. Obviously, I'm going to check this on the loop to see, but that's sort of all you need for the nibs. And I like to look, especially if you can with focus, it's tricky, but sort of get the angle down onto the writing surface, because that's what's going to be hitting the page. I mean, if the top is out a bit on the back there, it really doesn't matter unless you're big into reverse writing. And of course, the focus, we lost it. But anyways, that's all you got to do to do these little fine adjustments. Like I said, just take it, separate them a little bit, and then bring it back to center, and we'll check it on the loop. So all the nibs are adjusted and tuned and ready for the grind. So essentially, like I said, we adjusted the gap. So if it was too tight, we opened it a little bit so we get proper ink flow. Now the tines could be out, so we did a little tweak on there. They're ready to go. I'm going to do a quick sort of time-lapse montage of the grinds. I got more detailed videos on me going step by step on the grinds, but I thought we'd have a little fun, some tools here to sort of show you exactly what I'm doing. So now you might be wondering, what am I doing? So this is going to be the tip, okay, the tip of material on a nib, okay? This is my some of the kids' Play-Doh that they leave lying around the house all the time. And so I'm going to put the pen here, the nib, onto the stones, and I'm going to flatten the bottom. So essentially we're going to go from a round one. Here, I'll just chop this, see how well this works. So now the bottom will be flat. I'm going to flip the pen over, go back and forth on the stones. We're going to flatten the top. Okay, so we're flatten the top, flatten the bottom. It's, you know, it's, I squished the Play-Doh here, so that rounds anyways. Then I'm going to go on the, forget the pen. Then I'm going to go on the end, cut this off, grind it so that's flat. Okay, so top, bottom, front are flat. I'll check the ball and stuff like that, how much it needs. Sometimes it's maybe just a little bit. Sometimes I don't really need to do much at all. But we're essentially going to get it so it's like a block, so it's like a chisel, okay? And then so once we got that, whoa, there goes the camera. Once we got that, then it's all just a matter of, you know, going to finer grits, but that's the basic shape, and then smoothing it out. So when I do the pen, I'm going to round this a little bit so we're not going from a super mega ultra sharp italic. We'll go into that sort of cursive italic range. So this is going to get rounded and smooth over a little bit for the writing surface. Same with these corners here. I'll do this with the pen, and just all sorts of different angles, and hit it until you essentially have the tipping material be just the way you like it. I personally don't like to grind all the tipping material down so it's gone. I like to leave a little bit on there, one, so I still have stuff to adjust, but also just to leave longevity, especially if you're doing a gold nib, you got to leave the tipping material on, okay? I don't know if that helps at all, but at least wanted to show you the procedure that I follow to do these grinds. I'm back. The nibs are all done, and I ran into a little bit of an issue, had a bad idea, but I think things will be okay. To speed things up, I got the genius idea to use a rotary tool. Now, I went to use my Dremel, that thing wasn't working, so then I got the same bit and put it in the drill, and then just took the nibs and just ground them, got them, you know, squares, so would do the flat, remove the bottom part, flip it over, do the top, sides down a little bit, just to rough it in. And it was going so well, that I thought, well, that little up curve, so it's on the sanding disc, just to go like this. I did it on the rotary as well, and that turned out to be a fatal mistake. You should have done one and then checked it, but I just went ahead, did all 12. So they write no problem. I'm going to show you that. They write no problem, but this isn't just exactly how I wished they would have all turned out to send out to everyone. But let's just go through this and show you. So I fitted a couple pins here with some nibs. So this is just a Jinhao. Is this the 750 or the 450? That's the 450. So the nib is on there. Fits in there no problem. So a lot of people have a Jinhao pen that takes a number 6 nib. So here's a little writing sample. So you can see it works quite well. Both directions, side to side, up and down. There's your nice little figure 8s. You get some nice line variation. And it writes quite smooth, good flow. You know, nice and juicy and wet. The problem is, it's not really so much of a problem, but it's just this isn't done properly correct. So if we look at the nib from the side point, when you grind everything and get it ready to go, it's like a chisel. It's very square. So all the tipping material around there, it's gone. And then depending how you want it, you're going to smooth it out a little bit. So here, a little radius on there to smooth it, right? And you can do that on the top there too. When I did the rotary, it turned out a little bit different. Okay, so now it's got like an angle on it, quite a large writing surface. Now it did get smooth. It's just not the proper way. It shouldn't look quite like that. So if you look at this under a loop, it's going to look quite different and not the way it should be. But nonetheless, it does have some nice line variation. It's just that this is definitely by far not my nicest work. Here we are, got one fitted on the Opus as well, same thing. You know, just nice smooth flow. It's has great flow as well. You can see nice and wet, nice and juicy. And it's going to give your handwriting a nice little flair to it. And same with your printing as well. Okay, let's talk about getting one of these in your hand. So how do you win one of these? If you still want one after all of this, you just simply got to, 1, you got to be a subscriber, and 2, leave a comment, and there'll be a random comment picked. I'm going to do a nib a day. I might have to speed it up towards the end, do 2 a day, so that'll be announced on the Doodlebud community page. So you got to keep an eye on the channel. I'll just randomly pick one with some software, and I'll announce it on the community page. And so leave a comment. That's your entry. If you want a theme, let's maybe try a theme. I was, in my teaser video, people were doing fountain pen themed, Christmas lyrics. So that was kind of fun and creative to watch as well. So that's all you got to do. Be a subscriber, leave a comment, and every day we're going to do the 12 days of nibmas, a nib a day for the next 12 days. Like I said, I might have to double up towards the end because I am taking off for the holidays for a few days. But there we go. There's a little sharing some Christmas spirit with you guys. It was my birthday the other day, so I thought this would be part of it. And, like I said, got a little error there. Maybe a little too much Christmas cheer while I was doing the nibs. But that's all I got for now. Good luck to everybody. I hope you enjoy it. I got some more videos coming up. And until then, as always, catch you next time.